Sorry. Your boyfriend is dating me again. The one who cruelly reported this without any remorse was Amber, my twin sister. If she felt even a little bit guilty about stealing her sister's boyfriend, she wouldn't do it twice. My name is Margot. Amber, with her glamorous appearance and charm, was doted on by our parents. No matter how good my grades were, I have no memory of being praised by my parents. Realizing from a young age that I would never be loved no matter what I did, I focused more on my studies. The gifts and pocket money I received from grandparents and relatives were clearly less than what Amber received. Moreover, if Amber wanted something I had, our parents would take my side and snatch it from me. Seeing this behavior, Amber must have developed the notion that it was okay to take things from me. That's why, when I started dating someone for the first time, she got all envious and snatched him up instantly. She used plausible reasons like, "You can't change the heart of someone who has fallen in love," to justify taking him away. Before the ink was dry on her tongue, she seduced my new boyfriend, who I had just started dating, and stole him too. She bragged about having dumped the first one because she got bored, which was complete chaos. It would be a lie to say I had no lingering feelings for the boyfriends. But a man who would switch so easily just because Amber talked to him was not worth much. Before getting too deep into a relationship, I managed to break it off and consoled myself over the heartbreak alone. Consulting my parents would only end with them saying, "Amber is cuter, so it can't be helped." In a life of living with Amber, where everything was taken from me, and I was unloved by my parents, the only thing I could call my own was perhaps my school uniform. Everything was taken, and in a life unloved by parents, what I learned was to acquire something that cannot be taken away by anyone. That was studying for me. The knowledge I gained in my head could not be stolen by Amber, no matter how much our parents threatened to give it to her. It was my only asset. However, I was never allowed to engage in costly activities such as lessons or cram schools. For Amber, who was scouted by a talent agency in elementary school and joined a talent development office to start modeling, my parents did everything they could to support her ambitions. Believing that Amber would someday become a famous celebrity, they doted on her even more. They clearly stated that they had no money to spend on me as they spent it all on Amber. I would have liked to attend cram schools and lessons too, but chasing such unattainable dreams was a waste of time at my age. Nevertheless, I studied on my own, and eventually, I grew to achieve the top grades in my school. Of course, my parents remained indifferent to me. Intelligent women are not cute, my father would say, going so far as to tell me to stop studying. Studying all the time is why you have an unappealing look. My mother said something really unreasonable. No matter how much they tried to interfere with my studies, I believed that studying was the only thing that could protect me, and I continued to study alone. However, my parents were even more cruel. They had no intention of letting anyone but Amber go to university. Even though Amber was a college student, she only managed to get jobs like modeling for flyers. So she decided to pursue a degree by going to university. They forced me to give up on university and find a job because there was no money for tuition for both of us. Even if I could get scholarships for tuition, I would still need living expenses. I had no savings because the money I had saved from part-time jobs while studying was always taken for Amber's sake. Without my parents' support, I couldn't pursue further education, and as frustrating as it was, I had no choice but to give up on university. In utter despair, my parents and Amber came to me with an unbelievable proposal. Incredibly, they asked me to take entrance exams as a proxy for Amber, who wanted a high degree. What? I can't go to university, but I should take exams for Amber. When are you going to use your smart brain if not now? If you want to go to university, study by yourself. Hey, I'm busy with lessons and stuff. So, just apply for the entrance exam at the school I want, and you take the actual exam, okay? How could there be such a cruel proposal? My academic ability. Nurtured to be untouchable by anyone, they even tried to steal it in this way. I declared that I would never do such a thing, but no one listened. The perception that I should obey them as a matter of course was truly unbelievable. At that moment, I realized that I was being treated as an object by my family. The slightest hope that I might receive love someday felt utterly foolish. Facing a family that acted without considering my feelings, my emotions towards them completely cooled. I ditched the proxy exam. Not taking the exam meant Amber couldn't get into a prestigious university and ended up at an expensive private university, much to their resentment. A cute act of revenge. The only university Amber could get into with her actual academic ability was one that anyone could enter if they just paid. Afterward, I decided to move out because I got a job offer. No, to be more precise, I was kicked out. They told me that a useless betrayer should leave the house. I had no attachment to a house that was never for me, so I moved out as soon as I could. I had some savings from my part-time jobs, and the company I was going to work for had a dormitory. It was actually a good time to leave. My first time living alone was full of anxiety. But, considering the pain of living as if I didn't exist at home, it was nothing. After that, I worked desperately in a situation where I had no one to rely on. To be recognized by others, I thought I had to earn their trust first. Starting as a contract worker since I was a high school graduate, I worked earnestly and quickly made achievements, becoming a regular employee in the shortest time. The moment I felt that my past hardships were rewarded was when I received the news of my promotion. I cried out loud, despite my age. Usually treated as a workaholic because I lacked charm, my colleagues and bosses suddenly became kinder to me. You know, Margot is actually a pretty nice person. Even a senior woman who I thought was tough on me said such words. For the first time, I felt it was okay to show my weakness. Until now, I had only been aware of being unloved, so I believed showing weakness was the end. Therefore, I knew all too well about being labeled a robot, or someone without a heart, among other harsh words. But having been ostracized by my family, abandoned by boyfriends, and having everything taken by my sister, I was afraid to show any vulnerability. I knew no other way to protect myself than to be strong. It felt like my job. And my colleagues at the company helped me rediscover who I am. From that day on, my life changed. You've become brighter. That smile looks good on you, I was told more and more. The miserable life I thought I had was suddenly filled with fun and happy moments. My perspective changed, and so did the world I saw. Although bad things continued, good things also followed. A new lawyer working at the company's advisory law firm proposed to me with marriage in mind, and I got a new boyfriend. Amidst this peak of happiness, I received a call from someone who could instantly bring my mood down. It was Amber, whom I hadn't heard from since I left home. Hey Margot, are you doing well? When I moved out, Amber seemed to have forgotten all the harsh words she had hurled at me for refusing to take the university entrance exams. She started the conversation as if nothing had happened, boasting that she had become an exclusive model for a famous magazine. It wasn't that she was worried about how I was doing. It seemed she just wanted to brag about herself. But honestly, I was a bit surprised. Amber has a glamorous appearance, but even to an amateur's eye, she lacks the aura. She might stand out as a civilian, but as a celebrity, she would just blend in. That she had become an exclusive model for a famous magazine. Perhaps she had made her own efforts away from my knowledge. I thought about reconsidering my view of Amber, but my feelings vanished within seconds. Of course, the cause was Amber herself. She continued talking without giving me a chance to congratulate her. Next, she started bragging about her romantic partner. She had dumped the second boyfriend she stole from me and now had a new one. A handsome guy with modeling experience and the son of a CEO. Hey sis, you won't believe it, but I'm seeing someone way out of your league. And we're even chatting about tying the knot. Oh, that's nice. The university isn't top level, but it's fun, and my modeling job is going well. Plus, I've got a wealthy fiancé, totally living a different life from someone. Once she was done bragging, she ended with her regular insult. Imagine being a high school graduate and a contract worker. Plus having your boyfriend stolen by your little sister twice. What a miserable life you lead, sis. I was on the verge of telling her that I was also happy. I was tempted to spill everything and declare that I wasn't miserable. But I swallowed those words. If I talked about it, Amber would surely come to steal my happiness again. There was no value in boasting about my happiness to someone like Amber. So I quietly listened to her go on. After she seemed satisfied with her round of belittlement, she insisted I must come to meet her face to face. And hung up without waiting for my reply. Thus, our first conversation in months ended abruptly. Her one-sided nature hadn't changed at all. A few days later, Amber called again. Despite being at work, the phone rang repeatedly. It felt like she would even call the office if I blocked her, so I reluctantly answered. I'm at work now. If it's not urgent, just message me. Just as I was about to hang up, I heard Amber screaming through the phone. You liar. What? Amber seemed angry, accusing me of lying. I didn't understand what she meant. But I couldn't leave her unattended with her fiery temper. First, I needed to clarify the situation. Why didn't you tell me you have a fiancé? And when did you become a full-time employee? Who told you that? I heard it from Jessica, who used to be our high school friend. She's working part-time at a company that deals with your company. Oh, that's right. The man I'm dating, Scott, is a lawyer at the law firm advising our company. Jessica has been to our company a few times, so the story must have spread from there. While I found it annoying that my situation was revealed, there was a sense of satisfaction that Amber learned I wasn't living a miserable life. But that satisfaction was fleeting, drowned out by Amber's accusations of deceit. I haven't deceived anyone. Don't say such horrible things. You lied. You never told me you had a boyfriend. And he's a lawyer. His dad is also a lawyer, and they're a family of lawyers. I hadn't expected the story to spread so far. Personal information isn't worth much. It seems. As they say, you can't lock people's mouths. I just didn't say because you didn't ask. You're happy now, right? It's good we're both happy. I'm busy with work, so I'm going to hang up now. I won't forgive you. What? Amber declared that she couldn't forgive being deceived and vowed to take revenge. By stealing my boyfriend. Enough already. I'm tired of being dragged around by your whims. You don't deserve him, sis. If the president goes bankrupt, you're out. But a lawyer has a stable future. And with a family of lawyers, it's bulletproof. There's no use talking to her when she's like this. She will charge ahead to achieve her goals. My boyfriend, Scott, loves me for who I am. I love him too. I honestly doubt Amber will have any effect on him. But I can't help but feel a bit anxious about seeing her. A few days later, Scott consulted me. Amber had approached him claiming to be my sister. With information from Jessica, Amber learned where Scott worked and ambushed him outside his office. Exchanging contact information was fine for emergencies as she was his sister, but then she immediately messaged him, claiming she had fallen in love at first sight. She wanted to meet him alone, keep it a secret from her sister, and wished they had met sooner. Typical Amber with her love attacks. No man could resist such a charming assault. However, my boyfriend assured me that he had decisively cut Amber off. Yet, the relentless Amber, not one to give up, supposedly came to him threatening to reveal a secret about me in order to lure him. It's disheartening to see her resort to such low tactics one after another. I thought he had refused her, but then Scott told me he had agreed to meet Amber alone. Why? I don't have any secrets from you, Scott. Did you believe her story? That's terrible. I thought you would see through Amber's temptations. Forget it, I don't want to be with someone who trusts Amber even for a moment. I pushed away Scott's outstretched hand, filled with shock, anger, and emptiness. Panicked, Scott began to urgently explain. It's not like that. Hear me out. I was just pretending to take the bait to meet her. What do you mean? We need to teach this terrible sister a lesson. So, this time, let's clear everything up and start anew together. With that, Scott explained his plan to me. Initially, my face was expressionless. But soon I found myself smiling. A week later, Scott was to meet Amber at a small Italian restaurant. The interior was partitioned, with each table almost like a semi-private booth. Amber and Scott sat at one of these tables. As soon as they were seated, Amber leaned close to Scott, trying to impress him. Scott, I'm currently a university student. And soon, I'll be an exclusive model for a famous magazine. That's nice. I'll say it straight. Wouldn't you prefer me over such a plain sister? We're twins. But it's like a world difference. I told you before, but I fell for you at first sight. I'll dump my fiancé, so please choose me over my sister. Honestly, you and Margot are like night and day. Oh, and just to throw it out there, you're not as great. What? Scott's sharp retort left Amber speechless. She had never dreamed she would hear such things. Wait a minute, please. I must have misheard, right? My sister is humanly inferior and I'm better, right? Desperately seeking correction, Scott answers with a smile. Who would choose a horrible woman like you? You've always stolen Margot's boyfriends, cheated on them relentlessly, and hunted for men with money. And on top of that, you tried to make Margot take exams in your place. You're really the worst. I've lived honorably and will continue to defend my clients with integrity. I don't need someone like you. Amber, hit by Scott's machine gun barrage, is left speechless. What? She wants to retort, but the shock leaves her speechless. However, Amber's shock is just beginning. Emerging from the next booth, and standing before her is Amber's fiancé. Ah. Amber can only scream, now utterly unable to speak. Her fiancé, his face red with anger, approaches and grabs her by the collar. Amber. I got you that exclusive model job because I loved you. And asked my dad to use his connections, and this is how you repay me? It's a misunderstanding. That's not it. Amber tries desperately to make excuses, but they sound feeble, especially since everything has been witnessed from the next booth. The restaurant has these semi-private booths where you can sneak a look into the next one if you reach out a little. So it was easy to see what Amber and Scott were doing. Amber. What have you done? The one shouting is our father. Dad. Why are you here? Before my father can answer, my mother steps forward, grabs Amber by the shoulder, and starts crying. Amber. How could you waste such an opportunity? You are such a fool. Mom too. Amber, soaked in sweat from hair to clothes, is in a state of panic. No wonder. The whole affair of her seducing her sister's boyfriend has been witnessed by her fiancé and her parents from the next booth. Before Amber can faint, two more figures appear. Who's next? You're just rubberneckers meddling in other people's family matters. Go away. I don't have time for you. Amber yells at a middle-aged couple, but the man calmly speaks to my father. It seems you've failed at parenting. I can't entrust work to someone who can't even raise their children properly. And with a daughter of such rotten character. I can't let her marry my precious son. Seeing the man, my father cries out. Mr. President. I'm so sorry. No need to apologize. It's my fault for not seeing through your character. So, as a matter of putting the right person in the right place, you will be transferred to a remote location starting next week. Of course, I'm pulling the plug on the exclusive model contract too. As the man walks out of the restaurant with his wife, ignoring any further discussion. Wait, Dad. Mom. I'm coming too. I can't stand to be with this trashy family for another second. Saying this, Amber's fiancé follows his parents. As he leaves, he drops a parting shot. You'll pay the breakup compensation. What? What? Was that his parents? And the president, don't tell me. The president of Dad's company. It's a small world indeed. The president of the company where my father works is Amber's fiancé's father. Amber, who thought any rich guy would do, didn't even bother to research the company name her fiancé's father ran. She was just looking at the surface. Why was everyone here? Amber still hasn't caught on, so I, as her sister, explained kindly. I called them. Margot. You've been here all along. And what do you mean you called them? What do I mean? It's not just that. Trying to steal someone's boyfriend again. I've had enough. Scott and I planned this as a little punishment for you, Amber. Amber collapsed in a heap, and our parents rushed to her side. Just moments ago, they had stepped aside to take a sudden phone call. At the edge of the restaurant. We've struggled so hard for you, never thought we'd be betrayed like this. Do you even know how much we've invested in you? Our entire fortune. What do you mean betrayed? Becoming a celebrity and marrying rich to repay us was your duty. We set the stage for you, and you've wasted it all. Wait, it's not wasted. There was just a mismatch in values this time. But I'll find another good man, so don't worry. No one believed Amber's desperate attempt to cover up. The recent call our parents received was from Amber's university. Due to her unserious attitude and being caught cheating on exams multiple times, she was finally being expelled. Furthermore, her talent agency had indeed terminated her contract after being contacted by her fiancé's father demanding the cancellation of her exclusive modeling contract. Witnessing Amber's downfall, our parents quickly switched their allegiance to me. After all, you, Margot, are the only one we can rely on. True to being the eldest. Our dependable sister. From now on, we'll value Margot over Amber. So, please take care of us in our old age. I couldn't believe they could say that after everything they had done. More than their words, I was worried about Amber. Abandoned by our parents. Without a job, a fiancé, or a future, Amber was truly lost. Seeing this tragic situation stirred up anger within me. Amber, selfish and impulsive, was indeed flawed, but it was our parents who had nurtured those flaws. With their expectations and egos, they had indulged Amber based on her cuter appearance from birth, fostering her entitlement. Feeling something needed to change, I summoned not only our parents and Amber but also our paternal grandparents, who are exceptionally strict and infuse discipline with love. When I explained the situation, they were furious and ordered our parents to return home. They run a large hotel in the countryside and decided to take in both our parents and Amber to strictly train them. Unable to oppose his parents, my father resigned from his company and was nearly forced to move to the countryside. At first resistant, Amber started working reluctantly at the hotel, but soon experienced the satisfaction of hard work for the first time. Impressed by the fulfillment it brought, she began to help my grandparents more diligently than anyone else. Raised not by overly indulgent parents but by strict yet loving grandparents, Amber managed to realign her life. Now, she's grown enough to scold our still lazy parents. Amber might have done terrible things, but she's still my sister. Out of concern. I visited several times and saw her working hard. She even happily took on overtime to pay off the breakup compensation in installments. Our parents, too, grumbled but worked hard under the watchful eyes of my grandparents. If you're not working, you're not eating. In a tough household with our strict grandparents, Amber rediscovered her true identity. The negativity from the past faded, and she shone with a smile as bright as daylight. Gradually, our family relationships began to heal. It's such a relief to know we can invite everyone to our wedding without any second thoughts. I really think that if you hang in there, new paths will definitely appear.